Studio 274 presents this week's episode of DeTATctive Work. Detective Tiffany is back again to teach you how to solve the unsolvable mysteries of the world.
Hi, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to DeTATctive Work. This is where we learn kind of the unknowable, unsolvable mysteries of the tattoo world and getting a tattoo. Sometimes you think you want a tattoo, but you really have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm here to help you figure those things out. Last week we learned how to figure out if your tattoo shop was like a sterile, clean, sanitary environment, and that was very helpful. Stop the spread of a lot of diseases. This week we're going to learn how to tell if your tattoo artist is a real, legitimate tattoo artist or just a really grimy scam artist that wants your money and isn't a really good tattoo artist at all. There's a handful of things that is important for you to know and to ask yourself before you just run in the shop and get a tattoo. So the first thing would be, it's kind of like questions you could ask the person and see what he says. You don't have to guess all these, but if you go into the shop and say, okay, hey buddy, so you want to put something on my body forever and ever and you say it's going to be good? Well, where did you learn to tattoo? So it could be like, he learned in jail. Maybe that's what he tells you. Maybe he tells you he learned at a buddy's house one weekend at a party. Or maybe he tells you like, oh, I learned on YouTube in my spare time. None of these are really what you're going to want. You want someone that has learned from a real tattoo artist. Hopefully, ideally, they've been apprenticed by a real tattoo artist. So this is what a tattoo license looks like. And really, if you want to get a tattoo, you should do it by a licensed tattoo artist. If they don't have a license, I would question why. It's also important to check all of the, to check their licenses and their regulations for every single state because they differ from state to state. So this is a Tennessee license, and I need a license in Tennessee, but in Texas, artists don't even have to be licensed, and they don't even have to go through the program. So it's important to know what state you live in and what regulations there are, and check those, because anybody could tattoo you in Texas, and that's not ideal. So the second thing is, say they have a license and they're ready to go. The next thing is, do they have a portfolio? A portfolio is a collection of work that they've done in the past to show you what they're capable of doing on you. It's important to look at this because if they have a portfolio, that means that they've done a lot of tattoos, and it's tattoos that they're proud of and that they're glad to show you and happy to show off for you. But if they don't have a portfolio, that could mean a handful of things. It could mean, one, that they're just terrible and they don't have anything they want to show you that they're proud of. Two, it could mean they haven't been tattooing for that long and they don't have enough to show someone, which is also a bad sign. So you want to go ahead and check and see if they have a portfolio, then check it out. Then be like, okay, you have one. Let me look at this. You need to look at their style. Say they only do black and gray, really serious portrait tattoos. If that's the case, if you want like a really cartoony kind of Hello Kitty tattoo, that might not be the best person to go to. So you're also checking the portfolio for style to see if that's consistent with the tattoo that you're wanting to get. Those are all important things. The third thing is, so you walk in the shop and say you're the only customer in there every single day and he's really eager to tattoo you. Basically like he's not that busy. So think about a hairstylist. If there's someone that wants to cut your hair and they're really good, they're usually booked out kind of far in advance and you make appointments and stuff like that. So if you see that you kind of need to plan to schedule your tattoo in advance because they're busy, because they're good at tattooing and they're filling up, that's a good sign. It's not a good sign if the person is sitting in the shop, never has appointments, is always willing to take walk-ins, and doesn't have a high demand. It's not a good thing. So another thing is you kind of, especially if you're a girl, want to check and see if the artist is hitting on you. Because if he's being grimy, okay, so say he's like, oh, hey girl, welcome to my tattoo shop. And he's like proud like a peacock and kind of making it really cheap and stuff like that and hitting on you and saying he wants to do a tattoo like on your lower hip. That's probably not ideal. He's grimy, it's unprofessional, and you don't want to do it. So we'll get to more after the break. Enjoy the commercial.
With the hustle and bustle of life, sleep sometimes gets put on the back burner. Well, hey there, cowboy. You look tired. Try out one of these new energy drinks. It's Kickstart Cola. Kickstart Cola is a new energy drink with 100% all natural ingredients. Try Kickstart Cola today and get the healthy kick you need to get through your day.
So welcome back. week, we just learned a lot of different things on how we could tell if our tattoo artist is legitimate or is kind of a grimy scumbag that just wants your money. What we're going to learn next is he making the tattoo cost more than it actually should? A lot of people don't know the cost of tattoos, and what I'm going to let you guys know is kind of the general cost. Usually there's a minimum for tattoos, and the minimum is about $40 or $50. So even if you want the smallest, tiniest tattoo in the world, don't be surprised when they say it'll still be $40 or $50. Now, on the other hand, if you want a giant, large tattoo and you expect it to be $50, that's not going to be the case either. So I have an example here of tattoos. Here is one that you can expect would be about $50. And it's really teeny tiny. You think it might be less, but that's about what it's going to be. Now, if you add color and lines and it gets bigger and things like that, it's going to increase in price. So that can go up to about $300, and there's an example of a good $300 tattoo. That's important to know. You don't want to offend your artist, and you don't want to kind of overcompensate for the work that you're getting. Another important thing to know is if they are actually drawing your tattoo or if they're just Googling it on Pinterest. So say you go through the motions, they have a portfolio, they have a license, they gave you a good price. Now he goes to draw your tattoo, and instead of like drawing it on a blank piece of paper where there was nothing on it before, he just pulls things up on Pinterest and shows you what you should get out of tattoos that already exist. This is someone that has a little bit of problem in the creativity department, or they're just lazy. So I would advise against someone that just prints out something online and onto someone that is willing to draw you something like handmade that has never been drawn before. That's a sign of a real artist. Even if it's something they found, like say you like something you found online, if they can turn it into something even better and more catered to you personally, that would be ideal. And I think that's a sign of a true artist over someone that's just trying to make a buck. So another important thing is if the person is clean and sanitary in the supplies and in what they use. You need to know that when you go to a tattoo shop, you want your supplies like needles and things like that. These are tattoo needles, and they are pre-packaged so that you can see that they've never been used before. This is not what you want to see. It is a tattoo needle that is open. It may have been used before. You have no idea where it's been. Even if it's been cleaned, it's still disgusting. So these go in people's bodies, in people's blood, and a tattoo is basically an open wound. So you need to be sure. Make sure your tattoo needles are packaged. This is the tube that the tattoo needle goes in. These also need to be packaged, whether they're metal or plastic. These are ink caps that you use individually. So if you use black ink, you don't want to use the same black ink that Joe before you used. You want to use your own. So individual ink caps, lots of sanitary equipment and things like that. Those are all things you need to see. Also, usually a biohazard can is kind of makes you nervous in any other environment, but in a tattoo environment, it's a good idea to see a biohazard can because that means they're getting rid of their dirty and used needles in a clean way. And really, most importantly, above all, is to just know your artist, know if he does good work or bad work, and also see what you think of the experience. If you come in and you walk into the tattoo shop and it's smoky and it's gross and you get a bad vibe, you should trust that. If you're uncomfortable as a girl or as a guy, you should trust yourself in that. So it's really important to kind of trust your gut. If someone's treating you with disrespect, if someone's being rude to you, because a lot of times tattoo artists, they seem to make fun of people that come into their shops because they think they know more than you. So they'll laugh at you, they'll make you feel stupid, they'll kind of be like, okay, just trust me, like just let me go. They shouldn't make you feel like that. It would be like if you went into a doctor's office and he was like, haha, you don't know why you're sick, that's stupid, I know why you're sick, I can help you. It's just not the way you want to be treated. So if you feel comfortable with the person, if they go out of their way to show you that everything's clean and safe, if they draw you a design that you really like, if they're licensed, you know, if they're everything else, then that's ideal and that's what you want. So I would say just go to different shops, get different vibes in different things, and see what works best for you. Thank you so much for joining this week. We'll see you next time.